This card is hiding something dark. That's Eric and Lyle, the Menendez brothers. They're watching the Knicks play at Madison Square Garden, but what no one else on this card knows is that a few weeks earlier, they got away with murder. On August 20th, 1989, Eric and Lyle walked into their family's million-dollar mansion and shot their parents dead. But why? Kitty and Jose were model citizens. Mom was a former school teacher, and Dad worked his way up to becoming a Hollywood film executive. But no matter how nice life seemed, things were bad. So bad that on that fateful night, the brothers put an end to it and tried to cover it up.
Came home and found 2 shots.
Over the next few months, the brothers lived lavishly. They spent their parents' inheritance money on clothes, cars, starting businesses, and buying season tickets to the Knicks. Where just weeks before they were caught and sent to prison, they sat front row right behind Mark Jackson.
You make that move in my park, you're not going home, my friend.
This card has sort of like a cult classic type following, and obviously the subject matter here is very dark, so it's a little morbid in that sense, but this card having so much story behind it, and from a population count, this is not a 2024 ultra mass produced card. It's also not a super expensive or rare one. This is just an example of, if this card were any other card with any other people sitting behind the player involved, in this case, Mark Jackson, who has nothing to do with the Menendez brothers and what they ended up doing or what they did prior and then ended up happening to them. But if this were any other card, any other person sitting behind them, this card would be worth like a nickel, if that, right? A shiny nickel, perhaps. But it is a very unique card with a very unique story, and the average eye, if you didn't already know, you just would say, why is this random card worth like 40-50 bucks? The Mark Jackson Menendez brothers card isn't the only true crime related sports card that I know of, and that is in this video. Talking about this sports card. And is this an iconic sports card? Absolutely not. It's actually the opposite. This is an infamous sports card. Interestingly enough, too, if you don't already know what happened with Henry Ruggs, the interesting thing to start with is that this card, when I pulled it, this corner is actually completely busted. So that's already, before this incident had even happened, this card was already kind of doomed, I would say. It's a little dark. But Henry Ruggs has a very dark tale, and I'm cutting to that right now.
This is not a mistake. He made a choice. He was very selfish. I think his greatest punishment is going to be having to live knowing that he cost someone their life.
This is Henry Ruggs, and at 21 years old, he threw his life away while taking 2 others. On November 2nd, 2021, Henry and his girlfriend had a night out in Vegas. Then the brilliant decision came to get behind the wheel of his Corvette while having a blood alcohol level of over twice the legal limit. Meanwhile, 23-year-old Tina Tintor had just dropped off her friend at home, and alongside her dog Max, she was driving her RAV4 just blocks away from her house. Just after 3 a.m., Henry is driving northbound on Rainbow Boulevard.
This is video 8 News Now obtained from the Vizcaya apartments near the scene of the crash. This is what driving at 156 miles per hour looks like.
And all of a sudden, Henry Ruggs slammed his brakes and struck the Toyota RAV4 of Tintor from behind, which led to this.
Henry Ruggs sitting in a Clark County jail right now, awaiting his transfer to prison for the next 3.
This is one of the cards that started it all. It is Michael Jordan's 1986 Fleer rookie card. It's actually technically not a rookie card, but it is because this was the first Michael Jordan card that was widely produced. This card symbolizes how much potential Michael Jordan had early on. And if you got this card back when they first came out, you were getting them for what, $1? A couple of dollars is what you could have spent to potentially end up with one of these 40 years ago. And now these cards, if they are raw, can sell for thousands of dollars. And if they're graded PSA 10, hundreds of thousands of dollars. This card you see before you is actually a fake. And it's actually torn in half. If I play around with it here, we'll see this card actually is torn in half. This was a part of a gimmick, a stunt, some sort of it is a prop from the first video that I made on this channel. The purpose of buying this card as a prop was to show that cards can be worth whatever you are willing to pay for them. In this case, I bought this card for the demonstration of in a video hook, trying to show how my argument is if the card is special enough, if the player is special enough, the condition doesn't matter. I just want that card. So in this case, this is a fake torn in half Michael Jordan card that is number 1 on our list. The story behind it is it was his first big card that really gained notoriety in 1986, even though his rookie year was 84. And so that also takes on an extra meaning of its own. What did this prop cost me? I don't even. Yeah, so this prop card cost me 31 bucks. The funny thing is, it also reminded me of another purchase that's coming later in this video. The next card we're talking about is Michael Jordan, but it was actually that brief period of time in the 90s where he was playing a sport that was not basketball.
I was really nervous about coming in and being projected to overshadow everybody else. I didn't want that. I wanted to kind of fit in, get the guys to know me as a person and as a hard-working player.
What did he do? Jordan went from batting 200 over a summer to 250 in the fall and made plays like this.
Maitland there on a ground ball. Got a base hit that drove in a run. There's another hit. A drive down the third baseline. The tying run may score. He's around third, racing for the plate. Michael Jordan has tied up the ball game with a ground double to left, and everybody's on their feet yelling.
This is a rookie baseball Michael Jordan card, if you even want to call it that. It is one of many that were produced, so this is not supposed to be anywhere near the level of the Fleer rookie Michael Jordan card, but this is a fun reminder of that brief era where Michael Jordan decided to retire from the game of basketball, citing reasons that involved the passing of his father and how the sport of baseball was a passion of his dad's, also combined with the fact that he had just won his third straight championship, and in his mind, he had done all that there was to possibly achieve on a basketball court. So this card is a fun reminder of his brief period trying out to, make the MLB. Ultimately, he did fall short. He really just made it to the minor league baseball system, and he batted just about 200, which if in baseball standards is really not that great. But if all things considered, he was already in his 30s when he decided to completely change sports, and he definitely had his fair share of highlights in that brief offseason. That brief summer, offseason for the NBA that he was trying to make his baseball career a reality. This Michael Jordan baseball card, I would say the novelty outweighs the monetary value. Just to look up what this card is worth, knowing that there were a lot of different upper deck Michael Jordan baseball cards that were printed and created. So therefore, the population count being very high really just means these cards are not worth that much. When in doubt, eBay it out. Although if you don't sort by sold items, then what you'll get is very confusing price points. Actual sold, yeah, I mean, one is signed. Wow, that's an awesome deal. 201 bucks. I guess it's not authenticated, so you run the risk actually. But these cards, like I said, worth a couple bucks. Another cool thing about this Michael Jordan baseball card is the fact that when you flip it around, you're reminded of how there was another sport that Michael Jordan actually played. You know what? I'm going to try and hit you on the other camera. As I was saying, if you flip over the card, you're reminded that he played another sport other than basketball, and that was golf. So I got this card at a card show. It was really cheap, and it was just a fun novelty card. And yeah, I also made a short, as you could tell. Along the same lines of thinking with the 90s Michael Jordan baseball upper deck cards being very heavily printed and just a lot of those cards existing, so therefore the cards not being worth a whole lot, the transition point from that is Shaquille O'Neal, another prime example of so many cards in existence. When Shaquille O'Neal was drafted, one of the very first sponsorships he took was with a trading card company named Classic Trading Card, I believe. And the story that he had actually shared briefly over several different experiences over the years was how he had dropped $1 million, his first million, on 3 different Mercedes, one for him, one for his dad, and for his mom. That is as far as we know, a true story. That money came from this sponsorship deal that ultimately resulted in cards just like this next one that we're showing, which is a Topps branded card. But the bigger premise being Shaquille O'Neal cards in the 90s were, Jesus, they were printed like so many different times. There were so many cards in existence. It is wild. This is a card with a story in the sense of Shaquille O'Neal having so many awesome moments on the court and very much a very story-driven character in his own right. We just talked about 3 Mercedes for $1 million upon getting drafted. He certainly has. My cat is scratching stuff in the background. You know what? It's a good opportunity for some cat cam action. How you doing, bud? Overall, Shaq was and has always been very opportunistic with endorsements. And so, as a result, I, like a lot of other people, have a lot of random Shaq cards. This is one I tried to get cute and tried grading this after getting it off Facebook for very, very cheap. It came back a 6, and so this card is worth poop emoji. But you know what is worth more than a poop emoji would be the stories that he's been able to provide us, whether they're stories he's proud of or not.
Shaq has made some interesting friends, but hanging out with a former gang member was a huge mistake. This is Robert Ross, former Crip turned music producer. He crossed paths with Shaq in 2007 and struck a deal. 50% of profits for every artist recruited. But then things got ugly. Ross claimed that after signing rapper Ray J, he wasn't paid his cut from Shaq. So what did he do? He secretly filmed the Diesel cheating on his wife, all to try and blackmail Shaq. But that blew up in Robert's face. Just a few months later, the guy was robbed at gunpoint by 7 gang members who were allegedly trying to recover the sex tape. However, the public didn't learn of Shaq's involvement until 2011, after Ross filed a lawsuit that made some even crazier accusations. In the end though, Shaq's hands were clean. The lawsuit was eventually thrown out for 2 reasons. 1, statute of limitations, and 2, the fact that Ross had lied about there even being a sex tape.
All right, we're going to our next couple of cards. We got a 2-for-1, and it's actually along the Pokemon route. So I had already mentioned there being one fake card in this bunch. The Michael Jordan Fleer rookie card, the top left. This is the other one that's fake. This was also part of the first video. This actual card, a real version of this card, sold for over $5 million via the one and only Logan Paul, who's a WWE wrestler. Now, obviously, YouTuber, has been around for tons of time, and he is, because he is, a high roller, so to speak, he spends a crazy amount of money on Pokemon cards. This is one. Ultimately, I bought this card to prove a point. It shows, I only had to spend 10, 15 bucks buying this card, and it looks damn near the same as the one that Logan Paul spent over $5 million for. And this card does actually have a cool story behind it. It's that it was designed by someone that won a magazine contest where you could submit a design for a card. This was a winning design, and it's very endearing as well too. It's very cute version of Pikachu, and I think it's the very cool card. And it's an example of how when a certain creator can latch onto a card and put the money behind the fact that there might only be so many of these cards in existence, then it kind of becomes there's even more monetary value because of the hype that is built. So yeah, I have the same card as Logan Paul does, and mine is totally not fake. The other part of the Pokemon portion of this video is that the first Pokemon card, this one, that one, the fake Pikachu Illustrator, then kind of got the gears turning in me to want to try and open an original pack of Pokemon cards. So one thing led to another, and what I did is I actually bought 3 different 1999 sealed original Pokemon fossil booster packs. 3 different cover arts. One was Zapdos, one was Articuno. Zapdos, Articuno. Why am I blanking on them? I still have the wrappers. Thumb up. Let me actually get the packs. So there's actually 2 that I have, and one was the Articuno pack that is still, as far as I know, unopened because it was a gift for my sister as a Secret Santa gift last year. The 2 that I do have, however, are Zapdos and Aerodactyl. I'll pull them up right here. Yeah, so I basically opened these 2 for recorded videos that you can also, once again, check out on this channel if you're interested. But the card of note that came, the pull is right here. It's certainly not worth a whole lot, maybe 20 bucks, 25 bucks, and that's if you grade it, it comes back like 9 or 10. But this card has sentimental value to me because the story is it was really the hit of the 2 packs that I ended up opening. There were some other cool cards that I did pull as a result of those unopenings, but I think it was just really the nostalgia factor. It was very cool to actually open them, and the prestige of this being truly an over 25-year-old card that was just sitting in this pack that had been unopened that entire time, somehow landed its way to me. And for a very interesting price point, I might say, those packs ran me $150 each unopened. And so we've arrived at our final card, icon being one of the words in the title of this video. I can't think of a bigger wrestling icon than Hulk Hogan. And this card itself, you can consider it his rookie card. It's a 1984 Titan Sports Group Topps collaboration. This is just the base card. It was a base set. Hulk Hogan, I mean, obviously the man at the time, especially 1984. What's funny about this card is that it's so blurry. You can't even really tell, but so many of these cards, not only in the blue, but there's also a gold or a brown variant of this card. This card, just the picture quality absolutely sucks, man. This is just a whole different era of sports cards and collectibles. Just how little effort went into this. And even the back, just I know they're probably like, oh, red, white, and blue. You know what I mean? But I mean, just so there's not even like any stats or any breakdown, nothing. Yet ironically, I've sold this card for, you know, some money, and if you get them graded, they could be worth some decent cash. Yeah, so I mean, raw, just one of these cards I have 3 of these total, sold for $14.50, you know, and that's 12 people were bidding on that, or at least 12 different bids. So there is some interest, especially in these, you know, mid 80s, these earlier wrestling cards. Hulk Hogan.
I don't care about those people, man. I don't care about those people that aren't stark-raving Hulkamaniacs. I'm fighting for life, brother. I'm fighting for all those people that have remolded their lives, man. Modeled after Hulkamania.
How you guys doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good, man. Just checking on my son.
Who's impaired? Driving.
He's impaired?
He's currently in custody for DUI.
Complicated guy to look into. If you like this video and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date, and also consider sharing this channel with a friend who might enjoy it. Maybe I'll make it next.